What is the BMW 5 Series? Well, it was a car made by BMW between the mid-80s and around 1993. And it is one of the finest European engines in all of existence. It is very, very nice and elegant looking. It was the pinnacle of class back in the 1990s, and people still drive these because, well, they're famous, you know? They have such a long lineage compared to many other European cars, and, you know, they're very well known for being just elegant, you know? In many people's opinions, they don't get much better than the BMW 5 Series. Have a look there. Beautiful. It has a beautiful trim on it. It's got four doors. It's a sedan. It's very light and compact. Let's see, boot space. Let's have a look. Absolutely fuck all. You know, it's quite nice, and you know, people buy these for the drivability, the power, and the look. They don't drive these for the reliability. They don't buy these for the reliability. A lot of mechanics buy these because they're really nice to, you know, look at and drive, but you know, they cost quite a bit if you're going to the mechanics all the time. Wake me up before you go. Let's have a look at the back seats. That's beautiful. It's beautiful. These cars were one of the first cars with, well, one of the first widely manufactured cars, at least, from the 80s that had, sorry, I'm blanking, had power windows as a main feature. You know, was featured in pretty much all of them. You could get them without, but most people didn't because these cost so much money, like up to 70-80 grand, and you end up paying quite a bit in the modern market for the parts. You know, people sell these for 4 grand, 5 grand, and people fix them up. I do actually have a review about a real E30 E36 coming your way pretty soon. I have a friend who owns one of these, or at least a similar model. I'm not exactly sure on the exact specifics. I30, that's all I know. Or the 30i, sorry, I30. That's a different brand. But yeah. So let's go, shall we? Actually, quick thing I wanted to look at. You can see the springs. So cool. I do like the way it looks. Those tires are beautiful. They have such nice tread on them. Alright. Let's go. Now, it takes a lot more effort to drive this thing than almost any other car I can think of. You know, you have to be slow and steady to get this thing moving. In real life, you actually have to turn off the blinkers per thing. But yeah, it's very, very nice, but it goes very fast, and it's quite hard to handle. You know, obviously, not obviously, because not everyone knows this, but I don't use the power steering feature. I do when I'm actually like driving the cars I like, you know, like the Nissan 200, the ones that I've custom made and all that in the game. But when I'm just demoing a car, 9.5 times out of 10, I am not having any power steering on it because I don't want to have any, you know, biases towards one thing and say like, oh, the handling's so nice on this one, and it's actually just disguised by the fact that it's got power steering. So I just keep the power steering off, and that's about it. So you gotta go kind of slow. you do run the risk of stalling fairly often in this thing. Yeah, but I'm riding in first gear. It has quite a wide array of torque. You have quite a bit that you can work with. You know, I'm only in second gear. I've only gone to second gear so far. Some cars you have, you know, gears that are so shallow, and you know can only go like you can only go to like 3 or 4, and that's as far as you can go before you have to change gears. So you end up changing gears a lot more in like those things. Normally they're like the trucks and shit. They have to hold a lot more, I guess. I'm trying to be kind of careful in it because you don't have the speed and the nice feeling that you do in like a Japanese car, for example. See, I used to be a huge fan of European cars. I used to really like the elegance of them, and I felt that, you know, Audi was the be all end all of cars. You know, not just European, Japanese, just cars in general. Yeah. I've been having this problem where I've been really heavy on my clutches lately. Yeah, so I've been constantly having the problem of high clutch temperature in the corner. So I apologize to everyone. You know, I probably just seem like such a fuckwit because I'm like, oh, you're riding the clutch so much. Stop, man. And I get it, I should. Yes, but I had to do it that time. That time I really didn't have a choice. I had to like ride the clutch, otherwise I was gonna roll back. So I don't feel that time was really on me. Oh, fuck. That was my fault. I thought I could do better. Turns out I'm much worse. So, yes, we are going where you all think we're going on this one. Let's see how far we can get without crashing. That's all. Like, if you guys haven't noticed, that's what I do. Yeah, that is my... That is my capacity on this game. Is just seeing how far I can go until I end up crashing. Yeah, and then once I get to that point, I just stop filming. Cool lights. The LEDs were really nice, and not LEDs. LEDs didn't exist, but the dashboard just looks beautiful. Whew! That was... Man. That was close. I had to like handbrake it and like slam the fucking clutch down. Like, you know it's bad when you have to both slam the clutch, brakes, and handbrake. That's how close of a thing. Even if you gotta remember, kids, even if you're slamming on the brakes, you still gotta put the clutch on slowly, otherwise it's not gonna work. Yeah, they're gonna fuck your transmission, or you're gonna, like, I never do driving tips in this fucking game, you know, for anyone, because, like, I suck. But just remember, even if you're slamming on your brakes, you still have to ease on the clutch. And it's so hard to do when you're panicking. when you're going like, oh, like you slam on both the fucking clutch and the brake, you know? But you gotta somehow find a way to go like that. I didn't even do it perfect because I was like, you know, yeah, because if you do that, it keeps rolling and you're still gonna hit them is the thing. Yeah, but easing on the clutch, you're not gonna roll it as easy. You know, you're not gonna roll. If you're on a hill, you might still, but you're not gonna roll as much. You know, just being slow with your clutch. It's just how you do it in general. You know, in the game, it's so hard to like do the clutch enough. You know, you just end up fucking it. You roll forward either way. Not to mention too, the bite points are really hard in this game to master. You know, the bite points in cars are really hard to master, but in the game, there's so many different cars, there's so many different bite points. You just wonder whether or not it's gonna work sometimes. And sometimes you gotta use your clutch for a bit more rev. I find that it makes a difference for me. Some people don't find that it makes a difference at all. Some people just keep their foot completely off the clutch when accelerating. I mostly do, but I find that sometimes if I need to get a little more out of a gear, like you know, I was not doing it very well there because like, you know, I'm not trying to milk the gear for everything that it's got there. I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to just go at a normal speed, trying to keep behind people, just trying to predict what the traffic's gonna do in front of me, type shit. So that's the thing. Like if I'm on a highway going as fast as humanly possible, it makes a difference for me at least to go. Normally, at that point, I'm going about probably 100 miles per hour. I mean, we don't have miles per hour in Australia. We have kilometers, so it feels wrong to say miles per hour. But this game is in miles per hour, so I'm gonna say miles per hour. When you're going 100 miles per hour, you some cars just aren't built to be at that speed for as long, so I find that I just ease on the clutch a little more. See, like just then, that was a perfect example of I braked really hard, alright? But I eased on the clutch. You know, having it a little bit on the bite point is a good way to keep yourself moving and easing yourself back a little more. In the game, it makes such a difference. You know, this game takes so much skill and precision that you just kind of forget that at one point. Okay, what I meant to say there is, you know, when you've been playing this game for a long time, as long as I have, you know, you start forgetting how much precision you actually have to get everything right. You know, it's easier than driving a real fucking car, but it's almost not at the same time because you're going so much faster in this game. You're driving around such steeper areas most of the time, you know, than you would be in real life. Most of the time in real life, you're just driving in fucking traffic, going 60 kilometers per hour, which is nothing. Like, that's so slow, you know, but like you're up to like 100, 120, you know, sometimes even 140 miles per hour in some cars. You know, you're going very fast, and you know, you're playing against not real people. You're playing against people who well, they're not fucking real. You know, they don't have brains of their own. They're just little computers that just do what they do. Is what I'm trying to say. So, what I'm trying to say here is, it's hard to predict what you have to do in the game, especially when you're driving a car you're not very familiar with. I am not too familiar with, like, the Oldsmobile Cutlass in the game. I drove that earlier today, and I shit the bed so bad. And then I went back into the Rocky, or the 200, and I was like, yeah, I'm back to good again, you know? I'm back to where I was. Things were, you know, I was like, fuck, have I gotten bad at the game? And then I realized, no, it's the car. See, here's the thing. I'd say with the 5 Series, with the 5 Series, you know, I am about 50-50, because when I first got this game, I was really, really into just driving the European cars. You know, so I drove this car probably, if it wasn't the most, it was like the second most out of any car in the game. I drove it a lot, like a fuck ton. You know, so I'm a little more familiar with it now than what I was then. And you know, having this kind of freedom in the game to just, you know, roam around in a car I used to understand quite a bit, it's kind of fun. You know, I forgot how fun it is to drive the 5 Series. You know, I mean, it's fun. I am such a big fan of vehicles, you know, that I forget the life that some of them have gone through. And, you know, the BMW Series 5, there's people who have been through so much with these vehicles. You know, they've lived their whole life driving one of these. You know, their dad drove one and they handed it down to their kid, and they fucking drove it and handed it down to their kid. And, you know, that kid did all that they could just to restore it to make his dad happy, you know? I was thinking about this the other day. I was thinking about the fact that, you know, I love the Daihatsu Rocky. It's my favorite car of all time. But there's hardly any. I saw one on the Central Coast, you know, the other day, selling. And I was like, fuck, I don't want to drive that far, you know? But, and the fact is, how am I gonna, you know, get that to where I am? I mean, like, it's physically impossible. I'd have to tow it, but I don't have a tow truck. I don't have a fucking tow bar. I've never had a tow bar on one of my cars. I actually did get asked by a friend of mine. They were like, hey, you know, you never drive big cars in the game. And I'm like, what about the Rocky? And they're like, the Rocky's not a big car. The Rocky's tiny. The Rocky's a 4-wheel drive, yeah, but it's tiny, dude. And I was like, okay, touche. You know. I was like, well, what do you want me to do about it? He's like, well, you should drive better cars. I'm like, better cars? Because he's just a huge 4-wheel drive guy. I'm just like, I'll show you a better car. And then I tried to drive one of the Ford Express vans, and no, that wasn't good. Yeah, that was terrible. Like, when I drove the Ford Express. Man, I don't think I've ever driven that badly before. I can't explain it in words that aren't shit the bed. You know? It's crazy to think. You know, I've been playing this for an hour. I didn't even realize until now that it had been an hour. Woo! You stand your ground, my friend. I really want to make a review on a Toyota Hilux at some point, but I'll need someone to make a good mod about it. If someone comments and says, hey, I have a mod that I'd like you to check out, I'll always check it out. I might not always make a video on it, but I'll always check it out. You know, to a certain extent. If it's a piece of shit, if it's like, if I'm not talking like a piece of shit as in like as in like it's not a good mod, and like, you know, it's, you can tell what car it's meant to be, but like it's not well made. I don't mean that. I mean like genuinely undrivable. Like you've made something on purpose just to be like, oh look, Sprit's driving a piece of shit. You know what I mean? Like, if it's one of them, I'm not even gonna fucking bother. But if it's something good, you know, that not even good, just something that works, you know, and you can actually drive, has fucking gears to it, you know, I'll try it out for sure. You know, you just have to message me. But I really want them to make something like a Hilux in the game. I know that they have, of course, they have the Ford F-150, but it's so different feeling wise to the Hilux that I just don't know how I can compare it. But this has been fun. This has really been a blast from the past for me, at least. Um, I really, really enjoyed this. Also, I meant to go that way, I think. No, I didn't. No, I'm going the right way, I think. Yeah, I'm going the right way. I really enjoyed this, folks. This has been... Honestly, I'm gonna go out there and say, other than when I did the Rocky the first time, this has been my favorite review I've ever done. I think I might even title that the video. Something like that. I really did enjoy this, guys. Thank you so much. So yeah, once again, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Sprit, and that was a terrible park. Let's go back to, let's respawn. There we go. Thanks, guys.